Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Lynn here. I am here to talk to you guys today about how to save money at conventions. And if you're watching this video going, wow, this sounds really familiar, I feel like I've watched this, it's because you probably have. See, I actually made this video about a year ago when I wanted to start doing my helpful cosplay series, where I talked about topics that cosplayers might want help or some discussions started about. And this was something I was really passionate about helping people because I've been going to conventions for a very long time, and I can definitely agree with everyone out there. Conventions are expensive. From doing your cosplay costume and buying the materials for it and all the pieces, buying your badge to get into the convention, all your travel costs that come along with it, and then all the spending money from going to the convention and just trying to buy food and survive for a weekend, plus any merch that you want to get. Like, it just adds up. There's a lot of costs that go into being a cosplay person that goes to conventions. There we go. So today I'm going to tell you guys how to save money, ways to save, I don't know how to describe it. How to save money when you're actually at the convention, like how to end up spending less money, how to save money in advance to make sure that you will be okay when you're there, and also a few things to kind of watch out for just as a consumer. So I'm going to break it into before a convention, during a convention, and afterwards, just to make it a little bit easier for you guys. So tell me if you guys enjoy this video and if you find it helpful, because I want to help people out there. And if you have anything to add, let's all be really good cosplay community members and help each other out where we can. Okay, so first we're going to talk about before the convention. And I like to talk about pretty much about 6 months before the convention actually starts. This is typically when I start to buy my cosplay pieces. And you're probably thinking, wow, Lynn, that's really early. Most people don't do it that early, but here is why. Spreading out your costs of the convention makes it much easier to budget over time versus having to spend a ton of money on a ton of stuff in a short period of time and you're completely broke. So you have to buy your badge and your entry and whatever else you need. Some conventions, you buy the badge, you drop $60 and it includes everything, so you're all good. But some conventions, you have to buy the badge, you have to buy the concert tickets, you have to buy, meeting the voice actor and getting their signature, you have to buy the event badges for all the little events, and those things will add up pretty quick. Maybe now you're also buying your cosplay supplies, so you might be starting to buy costume pieces, shoes, outfits, accessories, or you might be actually buying the fabric and sewing needles and materials for your costume. And then, of course, you're also saving money in the background, having that savings so that when you go to the convention, you have a little bit of little savings bundle that you can spend on stuff there. So try to spread it out. Start about 6 months early and start throwing $10 or $20 into a savings account whenever you can. Some people like to put $100 a month in. Then at the end of the 6 months, you have $600 to spend. That's a pretty good amount, or less if you can't afford that, just wherever you can, or try to kind of look over your year and think, okay, my parents always give me money for Christmas, so I can use that. My grandparents, they like to do this for me, so maybe I'll ask for a badge this year instead for my birthday. Instead of a birthday present, I'll ask them to buy like my convention badge. That's actually another really good tip, and I didn't write it down on my notes list, but asking your family or friends to actually purchase your cosplay convention badge or your supplies. So if you have a birthday or Christmas in between now and that convention, asking people to help you out that way, it's really awesome. You're going to spend money on it anyways. You might as well ask for it as a gift. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about before a convention, research merch prices. And I swear you guys, this is a really helpful tip as someone who has been going for many years, and I have seen the standard convention merch at every convention. The vendors like to make everything as bright, sparkly, vibrant, fun, cool as possible. So when you're actually at the convention, it really sucks you into spending more money than you need to. And then leaving the convention and checking on Amazon or AliExpress or any other cosplay website where you can buy this merch type stuff and finding out that it's actually half as much to buy it online than it was that you just spent at the convention is kind of a disappointing feeling. So if you know you're going to be looking for specific things when you go to this convention, like maybe you collect figurines of a very specific video game or a show, or maybe you're looking for a certain pillow with someone's face printed on it, or a mouse pad or something, look it up online first. Even if you don't plan to buy it right now, understand the prices online or buying before a convention versus at a convention are going to be very different. And typically at a convention, it's very, very inflated. So if you know every time you see those t-shirts with Sailor Moon printed on them and you get really, really excited and you spend $40 at a convention to buy it, and that's an issue, look online and pre-buy it and then bring it to the convention with you to remind yourself, hey, you don't need to spend $40. They're only 15 or 20 online. I'm saying this out of experience from myself. I'm a very excited shopper. When I see things in the shopping hall, I get very, very excited and I suddenly want to buy it because it's in front of me and it's bright and it's pretty and I want it. The artist alley is typically where I like to actually spend my money. I like to support small artists. I like to buy artwork I couldn't find anywhere else. I like to see things in person that artists are selling. So kind of decide where you want to spend your money. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about if you're sharing a room. So if you are going to be staying at a hotel with roommates, with your friends or with artists that you're working with or whatever types of people that you are staying with, make sure that if you're splitting the room, everyone in the room is paying their share of the costs 1 month before the convention starts or earlier. And it's so much easier nowadays with Venmo and all those apps where you can literally just send people bills or send people cash if you owe them money. There is no excuse to why someone can't pay you at least a month before the convention. Now, I'm saying this will save you money because it doesn't give people the option to suddenly drop out and take their share of the money, forcing everyone to have to pay a larger amount if they want to stay in the hotel. And this has actually happened before to me going to conventions, and it's very frustrating when you budget for, $130 for your hotel and suddenly you're having to pay $175. It doesn't sound that much, but when you're saving up for a convention, that's a pretty big, price jump. Or if you have even less people staying in your room, you're splitting it in half or in thirds, the price will go up by that much if they decide to drop out. This is also good too, because if you have that one friend who has issues always paying people back, you don't have to have that awkward conversation of, hey, the convention is literally this morning and you haven't given me money, give me money now. Because that's a very awkward conversation to have. Okay, the last tip I have for before getting ready for the convention, and this is a last minute thing, take out cash the night before the convention from your own bank. So wherever your bank is in your hometown, take out some cash. I would say now it's very rare that most artists and the artist alley and stuff don't accept some form of card, a debit card, credit card, whatever, because there's the little square readers, so it makes it really easy. But if you need cash for any reason or something happens, like last year at SoccerCon, my debit card got frozen when I was there because I had to pay a lot of bills in a short amount of time the night before. So I was paying all of my bills literally within a 20-minute period the night before the convention so I could get it all out of the way. And apparently it scared my bank into thinking it was fraud. So when I went to the convention the next day, and I finally went to use my debit card at the end of the day, it was frozen and it was on a weekend, so I couldn't contact the bank, so I actually had no access to my card. And luckily I did have some cash on me, so I was okay. But you don't want to be in that situation. And the other reason why you want to take cash out from your own bank is they don't charge you ATM fees, which sounds kind of silly because it's not that much, but seriously, every time you have to take out cash and it charges you $6, you can easily get up to $6, $12, $18, over $20 in just fees from having to take out cash there. So that will save you money if you're one of those people. Okay, let's talk about during the convention ways that you can save money while you're actually at a convention. As I said before, conventions are black holes that suck everything out of our wallet and savings. It's a really fun event. You're there with your friends, your spouse, your family. You're running around, you're having a great time, you're buying lots of merch, you're buying a lot of food because you're hungry, you're buying $10 bottles of water because you're at an event and you're dying of thirst and you don't want to leave the convention center. That happens. But there are a few things you can control when you're there. So I'm going to give you guys my tips for that. The first one, try to choose one meal a day that you're actually buying, like at a restaurant, and the other meals either bring food with you or find a low-cost option for it. So like bringing food to your hotel room and keeping things in the little fridge. We've even brought like a cooler. So we've stayed at hotels before that were so cheap, they did not have a fridge. And so we brought a cooler, we filled it with ice, and we put our perishable items in there because a lot of us wanted dairy products and vegetables. And it was a really awesome way to save money because we weren't going out and purchasing those items every time we wanted them. So when you're there, try to choose just one meal that you're eating outside, because understand, especially if the convention is in a major city like most of them are, you're going to be spending $20 on your dinner plus tip in a major city. Like in Seattle, it's pretty common that you'll spend about $18 to $20 on your meal. And then you're going to have to tip on top of that. And that adds up. If you have to do that 3 times a day, that's a lot of money that you just spent. I understand some people are like coffee people. Like I'm a coffee person. When I wake up in the morning, I need espresso. So I understand I'm going to be spending $5 or $6 in the city, but I budget for that. And it's one of those things that I'm like, I can't live without this. But for breakfast, for lunch, I'll tend to try to find a lower cost option available to me. Keeping snacks in your hotel room, also a great tip. And let me tell you guys, convention goers and cosplayers are so creative. I have found so many amazing tips on ways to make food in your hotel room. If you don't have a microwave or a fridge at all, you can still have like a very fulfilling meal. And like I said, you can bring your own cooler, you can bring your own lunchbox, you can refill, you can dump out the old ice and refill it from the hotel's ice. You use a wine bottle cooler bucket, you know, those buckets, and you fill it up with ice, and then you bring it to your room and you dump it in the cooler or in your lunchbox, and it actually works really super well. The other thing you could do is the coffee pot that's inside your room, and be respectful when you do this. Understand that like you need to clean it after, but there's many food items you can actually make in it. I've seen people make top ramen or soup in it, anything that's like a liquid that just needs to be heated, because a coffee pot typically boils the water and dumps it in. So top ramen works super well, or like those dried udon noodles, or you know, things like that. But you can also put things in the coffee pot because the bottom is a warmer and it can slowly warm things up if you don't have a microwave. So again, be respectful, don't put gross stuff in there, and if you do use it, clean it out really well before you leave. Do not leave it for the hotel staff. For the snacks in the hotel room, if you decide there is just absolutely no possible way that you can keep anything in your hotel room, like it's just not an option, my next suggestion would be find whatever grocery store is the closest and try to make that your common stop. So instead of buying food in the cafe or those convenience stores that are always located in the convention center, because those prices are very inflated, very high, quality is not great, so you're spending a lot of money on something that's not going to keep you satisfied. Instead, find the local grocery store, go to that grocery store, and purchase what you can in that moment. If you're really lucky, the grocery store will be in walking distance, so every time you need something, you can just go over there and go grab it. And if you're not lucky, it'll be far away, and you can at least grab a few things to keep with you over the weekend, and hopefully that will kind of cut down your costs. My last tip for during a convention is merch, because gosh, it just always makes us spend so much money. When you buy merch, let's say you go to the convention and you saw something that you really want to buy, but it's just still so expensive and you're not really sure if you want to drop that much money on it, wait until the last day. So if the convention is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I know most conventions are, wait until Sunday afternoon and then go to the shopping hall, and a lot of times they will give you special discounts on the last day. Also understand a lot of, and I'm talking about like the main shopping hall where they have big booths, not the artist alley, main shopping hall. If you see something in there that you absolutely love, but it's out of your price range, understand you can also offer a certain price. However, wait until the last day to do this. If you try to haggle with shop owners on a Friday or Saturday when the convention has just started, they are going to be extremely irritated and just wave you off. But if you haggle with someone on a Sunday and they have to be closing up their booth soon and they really don't want to have to lug all this heavy stuff back, whatever they can get off their hands would be awesome. They're way, way more likely to offer you a lower price for that item. So if you see a messenger bag that is super cutely decorated with whatever character you are super into, and it's like $60 and you can only afford $40, wait until Sunday. They might have a deal running. You might go to that booth and a lot of times they'll put up signs that say like half off now or something like that. But if you go on the last day and you don't see that, always know you can offer them, I can't afford 60, can you drop it to 50? That sort of thing. Okay, now I think this is also really important that we talk about after a convention ends, because you need to keep into account that you have a life outside the convention, and especially people who go to many conventions over the course of a year. I think it's good. You're going to want to keep these tips in mind too. The first one is spread out your conventions by at least a few months. You need time after a convention to recuperate, fix costumes, relax at home, get back to work, whatever you need. But also you need it to repair your savings account and to make sure you're not overly spending exorbitant amount of monies in a short period of time. I can easily say if you're going to multiple conventions within like a 3-month span, you're gonna get to a point where you have absolutely no emergency savings or money because you've spent it all. And it's kind of crazy when you go to lots of events and you're spending money on food and you get to the end of the month and you look at your bill and you're like, oh my God, I spent $800 eating out. How is this possible? But then you break it down to, okay, $20 per meal, plus I bought coffee in the morning. Well, I also bought those snacks and that was like $12 inside the convention center. And then you're like, that's how it adds up. And it adds up so quickly and so easily. So make sure you try to spread out your conventions if you can. If you're really hurting on money and you still want to go to a convention, sometimes you just have to be like, this is just not the right timing, and choose which convention is the most important for you to go to. The next tip I'm going to give you guys is if you stay at a hotel and you absolutely love it, you had a great experience, and you know that you're going to be staying at it in the future, sign up for their rewards. So many hotels have reward programs where if you sign up for whatever company owns the hotel chain or brand, the more that you stay there, you build up points or rewards, and then eventually you can cash them in on a free night, which is really cool because if you're going to this convention every single year and you always stay there for 2 or 3 nights, it only takes 2 or 3 years typically to get enough points to get a free night, and that's like a future discount for you. So I don't really know any off the top of my head. I am signed up for, I think it's called World of Hyatt, because they have a lot of hotels around the Seattle area and typically ones I stay in. So good tip for you guys, go research it. Okay, and then the last tip I'm gonna give you guys is a really good one, and this kind of makes it full circle from before the convention, during the convention, and after. But when you are cleaning out your closet, your apartment, your house, whatever, months later, like months after the convention. So if you go to a convention in spring and now it's like fall and you're doing like your fall cleaning or whatever, when you find a bunch of stuff that you never used, never wore, never found a use for, remember it for next time. Keep a mental list of, whenever I go to a convention, I always buy hats because I think they're really cute, but I never once wore this hat. So I need to stop wasting my money on hats because obviously this is a bad investment. Same goes for just anything. Like if you are really, really into figurines, because I know a lot of people collect like figurines or things they can display, and you live in a small apartment, and every time you have to clean your figurine shelf, you're like, I have way too many of these things and I need to get rid of some of them, and you're like cleaning your shelves off and you decide to sell a few or get rid of a few. Remember that for next time. Remember, for some reason, every time I go to a convention, I always bring, 1 or 2 home. I really need to stop doing that because I'm getting too many of them. Like I said before, conventions really make us excited, and especially when you're there with friends and like they're excited about stuff. To give you guys a quick idea, when I was younger, I used to love going to the artist alley because I loved to buy the jewelry that looked like little cupcakes and little sweet treats. So you could have like a necklace, like a donut that was like had sprinkles, or you buy earrings that looked like little cupcakes that almost looked real because they were just handcrafted so well. And I loved them so much, and I always bought jewelry. But then a year later, I would find those same cupcake earrings in my jewelry box and realize that entire year I never wore them. I would always buy them and spend all this money on them, and then I never actually used them. So it wasn't very practical, and it was definitely a waste of my money. So understand, just because you love something and it excites you doesn't mean you have to buy it. If you're in a group of friends and they're all like, hey guys, let's all spend $50 on this one thing because it's really fun right now, just remember this mental list, and hopefully it will save you. Okay, that's it for today, guys. I hope this video helped you. You get a few really good tips from it that you can apply towards whatever convention you're going to next. And of course, if you guys have hints or tips or tricks that you want to share with others, please leave them below. I'll be back again to do more videos and hopefully help you guys out. I have a lot of topics that I really want to bring up that I think would make for awesome discussions. So anyways, talk to you guys later and have a good night.